There's a name echoing through the halls of AT&T Stadium that has fans buzzing, analysts scrambling, and the NFL media machine spinning into overdrive. Shedeur Sanders. That's Shedeur Sanders, the son of Coach Prime. The quarterback with a cannon arm, ice in his veins, and a chip on his shoulder the size of Jerry World. And the latest word on the street? The Dallas Cowboys might just be ready to pull the ultimate power move and make a blockbuster trade to bring him in.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
Now let's be real. This isn't just another off-season fluff piece. This is Dallas we're talking about. The most talked about franchise in all of football. Every move they make is scrutinized, every decision is polarizing, and every year ends in the same conversation. Is Dak Prescott the guy? And after yet another postseason disappointment, after yet another almost season, Cowboys ownership is staring down a harsh reality. The clock is ticking. The window is narrowing. And the patience? It's wearing thin. So when the name Shedeur Sanders started floating around as a possible trade target, it wasn't just noise. It was a signal. Let's talk about why this is such a big deal. Dak Prescott has been the face of the Cowboys since 2016. He's the definition of a steady hand, a leader in the locker room, and, let's be honest, a good quarterback. But is he great? That's the million-dollar question. Or, more accurately, the $160 million question. Because while Dak puts up solid numbers, the big moments, the postseason moments, keep slipping through his fingers. Enter Shedeur, a young, dynamic quarterback with elite-level instincts, laser focus, and the kind of composure under pressure that you just can't teach. He's not perfect. He's still developing. But the upside? Off the charts. The pedigree? Unmatched. And the confidence? Oh, it's prime time. Now, imagine Jerry Jones sitting in his war room, looking at the landscape of the NFC East. The Eagles have Jalen Hurts. The Commanders are rebuilding with a young core. The Giants? Well, who knows what they're doing. But Dallas? They're stuck in this middle ground, good enough to get your hopes up, not good enough to finish the job. A bold move for Shedeur Sanders changes that narrative immediately. It says, we're not waiting around anymore. It says, we're building for the future and sending a message right now. It says, we're ready to take risks to be great. And let's not pretend this isn't classic Cowboys energy. This is a franchise that traded for Amari Cooper mid-season. That gave up a haul for Trey Lance when nobody else would bite. That paid Zeke before they had to. Love or hate the decisions, Dallas has never shied away from a splash. And trading for Shedeur Sanders? That would be a tidal wave. Of course, the critics are already out in full force. He's unproven. He hasn't taken a single NFL snap. He's just riding his dad's name. Sound familiar? It should. They said the same thing about Patrick Mahomes before his breakout. They said it about Lamar Jackson. They even said it about Dak, once upon a time. But let's not get it twisted. Shedeur's hype isn't just marketing. The film speaks for itself. The footwork, the accuracy, the command of the offense, the patience under pressure, these aren't flukes. These are traits of a quarterback who gets it, who plays with poise far beyond his years, and who, yes, has a little swagger to him. And let's talk about that swagger for a second, because that's part of why this fit with Dallas makes so much sense. The Cowboys are swagger. They're drama. They're primetime. They're the most valuable franchise in all of sports, and they've built that reputation by leaning all the way into their brand. Shedeur Sanders fits that mold like a tailored suit. The media presence, the charisma, the pressure? He's not just ready for it, he was raised for it. But what about Dak? Is this fair to him? Look, no one's saying Dak Prescott hasn't given everything to this franchise. He's been durable, dependable, and a model pro. But this isn't about fairness, it's about winning. It's about the brutal truth of the NFL. You either evolve, or you fall behind. And for Dallas, sticking with the status quo feels like choosing comfort over ambition. Shedeur isn't a project. He's a calculated risk. He's a bet on upside, on future dominance, on building something fresh and electrifying. He's a quarterback who can grow with a young core, ignite fan interest, and redefine the Cowboys' identity for the next decade. And if Dak wants to hold onto his job, great. Let him compete. Let the best man win. That's how dynasties are born, through pressure, competition, and a hunger for something more. This is also a message to the fans. The same fans who've been showing up year after year, hoping this will finally be the season. A move like this says, "We hear you. We're not satisfied either. We're done playing it safe." And let's not overlook the marketing side. Imagine the headlines, "Primetime Bloodline joins America's team." The jerseys would fly off the shelves. The games would be must-see TV. The Cowboys would become the most talked-about team in sports again, not just because of their history, but because of their future. Sure, there will be growing pains. Every young quarterback goes through them. But Dallas doesn't need Shedeur to be perfect right away. They need him to be hungry. And based on everything we've seen, he's starving. Let's not pretend this is just about one position. This is about culture, about vision, about whether the Cowboys want to keep tiptoeing around greatness or finally dive headfirst into it. This trade wouldn't just be a roster move, it would be a statement. It would tell the NFL that Dallas is back in the lab, cooking up something bold. That they're not afraid to shake things up. That they're tired of watching the Eagles celebrate playoff wins while they're stuck watching reruns of '95. So now the question is simple. Will Jerry pull the trigger? Will the Cowboys front office bet on the next generation and take the leap toward greatness? Or will they play it safe, ride out Dak's contract, and hope for a miracle? Whatever happens next, one thing is clear. This conversation isn't going away. And as Shedeur continues to rise, the pressure on Dallas to make a move only grows louder. So here's the real question, Cowboys fans. Are you ready? Are you ready to see this team take a leap? Are you ready for a new chapter, a new face, and a new chance to finally get over the hump? Or are you content waiting around for history to repeat itself? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you want to see Shedeur Sanders in a Cowboys uniform? Or is it still Dak's team? And if you're all about bold moves, big plays, and the truth behind the headlines, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Because this ride is just getting started. This isn't just about swapping quarterbacks or stirring up headlines during the offseason. This is about a franchise trying to rewrite its story. Dallas hasn't sniffed a Super Bowl in nearly 3 decades. And despite having talent on both sides of the ball, Micah Parsons terrorizing QBs, CeeDee Lamb emerging as a WR1, and a top 5 defense, the one position that continues to raise eyebrows is quarterback. Dak has had his moments. No doubt. He's shown flashes of brilliance, thrown for over 4,000 yards, and been the face of the franchise. But in the playoffs, the lights get brighter and Dak shrinks. Year after year, it's the same old heartbreak. A wild card win here, a divisional loss there, and no real breakthrough. So when you hear the Cowboys are eyeing Shedeur Sanders, yeah, it might sound bold. Maybe even reckless. But let's be honest, playing it safe hasn't gotten them anywhere. And this isn't some wild gamble with a QB prospect nobody's heard of. This is Shedeur Sanders, the son of a Hall of Famer. The quarterback who was built in the spotlight, who's been under pressure before he could drive. He's already been part of one of the most talked about programs in college football. He's already handled being the target of critics, doubters, and haters. You think he's going to fold under NFL scrutiny? Please. The man was born into the noise. Now let's talk about Dallas. A franchise that thrives on flash, headlines, and spotlight, but for all its glitz, what's the one thing that's missing? A true, generational quarterback moment. Not since Troy Aikman have they had a QB who could both win games and define an era. Tony Romo? Loved by fans, but never quite got over the hump. That solid, dependable, but every year feels like a wait-and-see experiment. Shedeur Sanders could be that missing link. The quarterback with it. Swagger. Star power. That unteachable ability to command a room, lead a locker room, and light up a scoreboard, all while making it look easy. But here's the part nobody's talking about enough. Shedeur wants it. Not the fame, he already has that. Not the name, he was born with it. What he wants is to prove something. To show that he belongs. That he can lead a team, silence the doubters, and do it all on the biggest stage in sports. And if that stage just so happens to be Dallas, Texas, you better believe he'll rise to the occasion. Think about the chemistry to imagine Shedeur rolling out behind that offensive line, launching deep balls to CD, hitting Brandon Cooks on slants, handing off to Pollard, or whoever the Cowboys' RB1 is by then, and keeping defenses on their heels with his mobility and vision. Now add in the Deion Sanders effect. You don't think Coach Prime would be courtside, front row, fully decked in Cowboys gear if his son was under center? That alone would generate media attention that money can't buy. And here's where it gets interesting. Because you can bet the house that Jerry Jones sees all of this. He knows Shedeur brings not only on-field talent, but also marketing gold. Jerseys, national games, primetime ratings. Shedeur Sanders in a Cowboys uniform is the kind of headline ESPN dreams about. But again, this isn't just about hype. This is about the game. If Shedeur is even 70% of the player many believe he will become, Dallas gets a quarterback who can grow into the role, build chemistry with a young roster, and usher in a new era. One that finally lets go of the heartbreak and embraces something fresh, dynamic, and unpredictable. Because let's face it, the rest of the league isn't waiting. The Texans found their guy in C.J. Stroud. The Eagles locked in Jalen Hurts. The 49ers built a monster around Brock Purdy. The Lions have a quarterback who plays like every game is his last. And the Cowboys? They're still wondering if Dak's going to finally deliver the Cinderella story. At some point, you've got to stop reading the same chapter and turn the page. Is Shedeur raw? Will he need development? Absolutely. But if you believe in your coaching staff, and Mike McCarthy is supposedly an offensive guy, right? Then give him the tools. Build around him. Let him lead. Let him learn. And let him bring Dallas back to the promised land with a fresh face and a fearless approach. It's not about bailing on Dak. It's about being honest about the future. It's about recognizing that the game has evolved. Quarterbacks aren't just throwers anymore. They're field generals, marketers, influencers, CEOs of the huddle. Shedeur checks every box. He's built for 2025 football. And let's talk about the fan base for a second. Cowboys Nation is tired. They're tired of next year. Tired of watching other teams hoist the Lombardi while they settle for playoff appearances and moral victories. They want a reason to believe again. A Shedeur Sanders trade? That's a reason. That's a movement. That's a new era, born in drama but backed by skill. It's everything this franchise claims to be: flashy, bold, unapologetic, and now, finally, ready to win. So here we are. The crossroads. On one path, stick with Dak. Hope he finally breaks through. Hope the roster stays healthy. Hope for that one magical run. On the other, take the leap. Roll the dice. Bet on the next superstar. Build something new, electric, and undeniably Cowboys. Is Shedeur Sanders the answer? Nobody can say for sure. But here's what we do know. If Dallas waits too long, someone else will take that chance. Another franchise will see what's coming and pull the trigger. And when Shedeur starts lighting it up in another jersey, Cowboys fans will be left wondering what could have been. Don't let that happen. This is the moment to go big or go home. The Dallas Cowboys, for all their historic greatness, have become a little too corporate. A little too routine. The shine's still there, but the edge? It's been missing. And now, there's a chance to bring in a player who is edge. Who is energy? Who is the future? Let's call it what it is. The Shedeur Sanders effect. This kid doesn't walk into a room, he commands it. He doesn't just throw passes, he makes statements. His highlights don't just rack up yards, they rack up belief. Whether you're watching him roll out under pressure or drop a 40-yard dime on the money, the reaction is always the same. Wait, he's really like that? And yet, somehow, there's still doubt. There's always doubt. Whether it's because of his last name, or because of who his father is, or because of the way he carries himself. Some folks just don't want to give Shedeur his flowers. But here's the thing. Dallas gets guys like Shedeur. They need guys like Shedeur. Remember Deion Sanders, the original prime time? He was bold, flashy, disruptive. And guess what? He won. He didn't just perform, he transformed teams. He elevated entire locker rooms. He brought swagger, and then he backed it up. Now, we're looking at his son potentially walking the same path, in the same uniform? You couldn't write a better story. But there's another layer to this, one that goes deeper than media hype or fantasy trades. It's about legacy. About what happens when a player doesn't just want to make the league, but wants to change it. That's Shedeur. He doesn't just want to fit into the NFL machine. He wants to challenge it. He's made it clear, he's not here to play by the old rules. He's not going to be anyone's backup. He's not going to be molded into a system quarterback. He's going to bring his own style, his own leadership, his own vision for how football should be played. And let's be honest, doesn't that sound exactly like the kind of player the Cowboys used to bet on? Think back to the golden era. The Jimmy Johnson teams. The Emmitt Smith-led drives. The Aikman-Favre playoff duels. Those teams weren't afraid to take risks. They drafted bold. They coached bold. They played bold. This trade? It would be the boldest move Dallas has made in a decade. Maybe longer. Because it doesn't just reshape the roster, it reshapes the identity. If Shedeur Sanders puts on that star helmet, suddenly the Cowboys aren't just another NFC contender. They're the team to watch. Every game becomes must-see. Every storyline becomes supercharged. It would put the league on notice. Dallas isn't here to maintain. Dallas is here to dominate. And don't underestimate what that would mean for the fans. Cowboys Nation has endured a lot. The blown leads. The coaching turnover. The Tony Romo heartbreaks. The Dez Bryant no-catch. The Zeke contract drama. The Dak contract drama. The annual, this is our year, disappointments. A move like this wouldn't erase the pain, but it would do something even better. It would spark hope. The kind of hope that makes you show up to the stadium 2 hours early just to see warm-ups. The kind of hope that makes the entire city of Dallas feel alive every Sunday. The kind of hope that only comes when you know, deep down, that something real is building. And for the haters, yes, they'll say Shedeur hasn't proven himself in the NFL yet. They'll say he's too young, too raw, too connected to his father. But here's the truth they don't want to admit. Every great quarterback starts as a risk. Lamar Jackson? Josh Allen? Huge risk. Patrick Mahomes? Risk with a side of wait too. You don't build greatness by waiting until it's obvious. You build it by seeing the future before anyone else does, and grabbing it with both hands. That's what Jerry Jones has done before. And if he still wants to win one more Super Bowl before he's done, this is his shot to make a legacy move that echoes for generations. Not a conservative restructure. Not another bridge quarterback. Not a let's see how Dak looks this year season. A full-blown, headline-dominating, empire-building move. Bring in Shedeur. Let him compete. Let him grow. Let him rise. And yes, let him fail if he must. Because from failure comes fire. And Shedeur has never been afraid to get burned to light the whole room up. So let's end with this. The NFL is changing. The era of safe picks and legacy loyalty is fading. The teams that win now are the teams willing to gamble. To build. To believe. The Cowboys have the chance to do something unforgettable. To make a move that energizes the fan base, challenges the roster, and reignites their place as the most dangerous team in football. Don't let fear win. Don't let comfort lead. Let boldness take the reins. Let Shedeur lead the charge. And let Cowboys Nation dream big again. The Cowboys have been stuck in the middle. Not bad enough to rebuild, not good enough to win it all. And let's be honest, we've all seen this movie before. High hopes in September, tension in December, heartbreak in January. Single. Now imagine this, it's week 1. The lights are bright. AT&T Stadium is packed. The star is shining on that giant jumbotron. And instead of the same old script, a new face jogs out onto that field. #2 on his chest, confidence in his eyes, Dion in the box, cameras flashing like it's a Hollywood premiere. That's not a game. That's a statement. Shedeur doesn't need to be a finished product on day 1. He just needs the opportunity. The space to grow. The belief that he's not being used as a smokescreen or some late-round experiment, but as the guy. The future. He's already shown us at Colorado that he's more than hype. He's got vision, precision, mobility, leadership, and maybe most importantly, that icy calm under pressure. You can't coach that. You're either built for this or you're not. And let's not forget, he's already used to the chaos. While most young quarterbacks are prepping for their combine in peace, Shedeur's had to navigate media storms, NFL rumors, comparisons to his dad, and targeted doubt. He's had to stay locked in while the world tried to write his story for him. But now, he's ready to write his own. And if Dallas gives him that shot, the league better brace itself. Because a confident, motivated, underestimated Shedeur Sanders in a Cowboys uniform isn't just a new QB, it's a movement. So the ball's in Jerry's court. Is he going to play it safe and cling to comfort? Or is he going to go full maverick and do what the Cowboys do best, steal the spotlight and flip the league upside down? Either way, the clock's ticking. And if you're still reading this, you already know what side you're on. Drop your take in the comments. Should the Cowboys go all in on Shedeur? Is he the future, or is Dallas not ready for that kind of firepower? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss the drama, the deals, and the destiny unfolding right before our eyes. Because make no mistake, this isn't just about football anymore. It's about legacy. And legacy starts now.